Hello and welcome to episode 5, I think, of my Cup of Yarn podcast. I'm back earlier than I thought I'd be. Big news, I'm no longer pregnant. My daughter was born 2 weeks ago, exactly on the October 2nd. And she's currently sleeping right next to me, so I think she'll be sleeping long enough for me to record this episode. My son just fell asleep, so that's a pretty good opportunity to record another podcast. So it was brought to my attention that I tend to look in the wrong direction while I'm talking to you. I'm not actually looking directly at you. And I didn't realize it. Thank you. I think 2 people just mentioned it, and I thank you for that. And the reason why is because I record on my husband's phone and I use the front camera because I kind of need to see what I'm recording. And I tend to look at myself and not at the camera lens. So right now I'm really trying to look at the camera lens so you have the feeling of me looking directly at you. And just sometimes my eyes may slip, to the sides as I'm checking on myself. So please excuse that. I'm still learning how to do this, how to make videos. So that's it. Yes, that's the introduction. For those who don't know me, my name is Clara and I'm a knitter based in Moravia, in the South Moravia, which is a region in the Czech Republic. And this is my channel when I talk about my knitting, about my life a little bit. And yeah, that's it. If you are returning here, thank you so much for coming back. And it reminds me that I have now more than 500 subscribers, which is kind of insane. I've never thought like 500, almost 600 people would be interested in what I have to say. It's like my entire high school, and I count the number of pupils there. So that's really, I don't know, I'm happy about it, of course, and it's scary at the same time. I have 2 finished objects. One, if you are following my Instagram account, I put a link somewhere here. You know what these are, and it's the Oslo hat for my best friend. I managed to finish it, I think 2 days before I went into labor. And the second one is my Felix Cardigan, which I'm wearing right now. And as I told you, I think in the first episode, when I was pregnant, I was super sensitive to rustico and to latopi. I couldn't even knit anything with latopi. I'm no longer pregnant, and I'm, thank God, no longer super sensitive. And I can wear my little Icelandic wool projects next to skin. So I'm super excited about that. That's it. So I will talk about Felix Cardigan, the Oslo hat. I have 3 new yarns. One is a merino from Retrosaria, it's the Bruska base. Then I purchased some Juliet from Terrerum Natura. And I would love to introduce to you Czech yarn brand and the very first base, which is mohair base, and the yarn is called Nuvia. Because I talked about the Czech knitting scene in the last episode, and I totally forgot. And I mentioned some makers and indie dyers, but I totally forgot there is a Czech brand, and new Czech brand. I think it's been 1 year top since they started. And more about it later. So that's it for today. Finished objects, some whips, yarn, and this Czech yarn brand. Okay, so let's start with Felix pullover. I knitted it with Letlopi. I think the colorway is called dark gray heather or gray heather. I'm not sure anymore because it's actually recycled Letlopi, because I also mentioned it in the first episode, I believe, that I crocheted a Letlopi sweater for my husband about 2 years ago, and he didn't want to wear it that much because he's like super sensitive, he's like merino type of person. So I ripped it out, I washed the yarn and used it again to make my Felix cardigan. Okay, she's going, so just checking on her. Yeah, so that's it. There's a story behind my Felix cardigan again, because I started it in July when I got sick, and I ended it in this week after my daughter was born. So I worked on it only when I was in this kind of not perfect state physically, and even like my mind was always distracted. So there are a lot of mistakes, and yeah, just like my poor Felix cardigan. The pattern is great, it's very clearly written, it's very famous, and there are hundreds of projects, I believe. So that's not the pattern fault at all. But what happened? The first problem was that I couldn't get the gauge flat and round with the same needle size, so I had to experiment a little bit on that with that. And that I also forgot which needle size I used in July. But I believe that the body, it's work flat. I knitted with 5 or 5.5 millimeter needles. And then to get the same gauge on the sleeves, I grabbed 6 millimeter needles. And this was the first time I tried magic loop knitting, because actually I do have 6 millimeter DPNs, but I thought I need to knit the sleeves with 7 millimeters, but the gauge was like too loose, and I don't have 7 millimeter DPNs. And so I already had this like magic loop set up, so I only changed needles to 6 millimeters. And so these are my first magic loop knitted sleeves, and I've tried magic loop knitting for the first time about a year ago, and it was a disaster. I just couldn't wrap my head around it. But now it was like, oh my god, it's so easy, and it's actually quite comfortable to knit it. So I think magic loop knitting has become my favorite style of knitting. So we'll see. But that is the part with the needles. And for the cuffs, I grabbed 4.5 millimeters, and I think I could have gone to 4 millimeter needles, and it would be better. But still, I think cuffs are really great. And what else? I have these wooden buttons. Buttons. When I first knitted it, I knitted the whole sweater except for the sleeves. So I had a buttonhole band, a button band, a neck band, and I knew I had those buttons in my stash. And I knew I had 6 of them, and I only found 5 of them. So I was like, okay, I will just go with 5. I will make the distance, bigger between the buttons. And when I was organizing my stash here, I found the 6th button. So I was like, okay, am I lazy enough, or am I too lazy to change it, to edit the button or not? And then I couldn't get over it. It was bothering me somehow, so I decided to reknit the buttonhole band. And I tried, and you knit the buttonhole and the button band first, and then you do the neckband. So the neckband is attached to the buttonhole band, and I tried to rip the half of the buttonhole band without getting rid of the neckband, but it was just like, too messy. So in the end, I have to rip out the buttonhole band and the neckband and knit it again, but it was worth it. Just really worth it. The only thing I don't understand why I did that, and I can show it to you, is why I didn't sew this button, like, you know, here. It's supposed to be like somewhere here, and it's here, and I don't know why, but I think it's good as it is. And I can really actually show you. I knitted the size 2, so it's really oversized, and exactly how I wanted it. And I don't have to mention the beautiful raglan increases. They are just gorgeous. It's really simple, but somehow classic, and the details are amazing. One more thing that happened is when I finished the body and I started ribbing, I realized, or I found out, that my stitch count doesn't really, it's not what I need, because it was an even stitch count and I needed an uneven stitch count, and I didn't know what happened. And then, so I just added one stitch and started knitting, and then as I was looking at the body, I spotted this one place in one stitch. I just dropped one stitch, and because that lope is a rustic wool, so it really sticks together, it doesn't unravel on its own that much. So when I was knitting, I accidentally slipped one stitch, and I didn't see it, and I didn't find out about it, because it just was slipped, and that was all. So I didn't know what to do, and I decided that I get rid of the ribbing with that one extra stitch, and I grabbed crochet hook, and then I just crochet the column of stitches which was missing, and then did the ribbing. And obviously, when you like re-knit it with crochet hook, it's really tight, and it was really visible before I washed it and blocked it, and I think now it's almost unnoticeable, and I can show you where it is on the back. So, and you just look at that, I think. No, it's on the other side. So, yeah, this is the part when the gauge is tighter because of the re-knitted column of stitches. But I think when I wear it, no one can really see it. What else can I say? Oh, the sleeves. You have to, for my size, I did 6 rounds of decreases, and after you do the decreases, you should knit a few centimeters more before the ribbing. And she's waking up. Shh. Okay, here we go. But when I did the final decrease round and I tried on, and it's like, okay, I can do the ribbing straight away. Because I'm a short person, I have short arms, obviously. So it was the case for me. And after I finished the cuffs, I tried it on. I was like, oh my god, it's just, it could have been longer. But again, after blocking, when I blocked, I slightly pulled the sleeves, so now I think it's the perfect length. When you look at that, it's just, it was like that before wet blocking, and now it's comfortably here. And when I raise my arms, it just goes up a bit, but I usually wear my sleeves like that, so I don't really mind. And again, I'm trying to look at the camera lens, not at myself. Okay, so I'm back, breastfeeding currently, so I hope you don't mind, but I would really love to finish this podcast. So, Let's move on to the Oslo hat. I have it here, and you can probably now see the close-up of the hat. I put the tag on, the label, petite label on. I'm really sorry, but the color is really, I can't really capture the correct color. It's really like this nice Bordeaux wine purple red, and this is too pink on the camera. Maybe like that. No, but you can always check photos on my RAVELRY project page or my Instagram. I really try to filter it a little bit so you could see the right color. So about the construction of this hat, you just need a long tube in stockinette and reverse stockinette, and you just fold the hem double, and the first fold is stitched. So it was kind of tedious, but yeah, I enjoyed it. And there's nothing much I can say about this hat. I already talked about it a lot. I can mention the yarn again. It's Ito Sensei, and it's mohair, Ito Sensei, and merino from Knitting for Olive. It's a really good combination, I believe, and I hope my best friend will wear it a lot and that she'll like it. Yes, we can move on the yarn. I purchased merino wool for my husband's cardigan. It's a retrosaria brusca. And I have it right here. It's this, I think it's 15A, the colorway, yes, 15A. And I did 2 swatches. I did it flat. I can show it to you. I like that. It's a really nice gray. What about this yarn? I really love it because it's merino, but it has this rustic feel. And now then you can come across a piece of hay even, and all of the yarns from Retrosaria are organic, and every step which you need to make the yarn is done in Portugal. So it's local, it's ecological, organic, and I really love this approach. And it's merino, but it's not as soft. It's more like if you ever did it with Gilliatt. It's also merino, but kind of harsh. It's this Malabrigo style merino. So I really love it. When I knitted the swatch, I was like, I don't really like the, how it looks, how it feels. But after washing, it just bloomed beautifully. So just don't be scared and just wash it so you can see how nice it is. You can see, yes. And the yarn itself, it's a 50% white Portuguese merino and 50% black Portuguese merino, and they have this A and B lines, and the A line contains more of the white merino sheep wool, and so it's a little bit softer than the B line. It's that's what's written on their website. And also those merino breeds are native to Portugal. So that's great. What else? It's woolen spun, and the thread is quite, uneven, not that much, but you can see that how uneven it is. Maybe I can show it to you. I don't know if you can. Yeah, I think it's visible a little bit. How it's uneven, and it's really springy. So that's all I can do right now. What I want to do with this yarn, yeah, I told you, I started to knit a cardigan for my husband, and he liked a pattern from the Lime brand. It's a free pattern, and it's called the Neighborly cardigan, and I think it's really nice. But I hate the construction because you knit the front panel separately, back separately, sleeve separately, and flat. So it's like, oh my god, I don't want to do that. Okay. So, and also the smallest size was still quite oversized for my husband. So I adjusted the stitch count, and I'm just going to knit it as one piece, almost. It's bottom up, so I will knit till the armholes, then I'm going to knit front and back separately, and I want to just pick up stitches for the sleeves and knit the sleeve cap using German short rows, and just do the sleeves top down. It would be the easiest way, I think. So, and I only started the ribbing, so I don't have much to show you. But I will put a picture here of the finished cardigan from the Lion Brand website, so you can see what I'm knitting. Okay, I'm back. I really want to finish this podcast, even though my daughter's is awake. So, we talked about bruska. Yeah, Juliet. So, this is actually my push present. I just tell myself, okay, I want to buy something for myself. Because actually my daughter was born via C-section. It was unplanned, acute, and kind of horrifying, but thank God she's okay. So I decided to buy myself a present in form of yarn, of course, and I would love to knit the sweater number 9, I think, from my favorite knitwear design. So and I went for Juliet as base. So this is the yarn. It's like beautiful gray, beige, brown tone. The colorway is called, I can't speak French, but it's a P-O-I-V-R-E, Power, I don't know, but yeah, I will write it here somewhere so you can see it. And it's this merino I can wear. It's a really kind of harsh merino. I love it. And the Romatura Juliet is also like locally made, organic, ecologically made. It's some like the sheep breed is native to France, I believe. So it's really great. That's the Juliet. And what I wanted to talk about a lot today is this this mohair, and it's the mohair from the Czech brand fur. I'm not sure. I'll talk about it later. About it. It's this really nice, like, you can't really see that on the camera. Maybe here. But it's here like this brown, gray tone with green undertones. And it was really, the light. It was really hard to capture the green undertone in it. It's a really beautiful colorway. And actually, when I ordered this, the owner of the foa asked for my feedback, and I told her, okay, I can review it in my podcast. So she sent me we were sending emails, and I could ask her some more questions about the yarn. So I can tell you something more about this brand and about the yarn. It's the name is not a Czech. It's not a Czech word. Foa. Foa is fur. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Is in some Italian dialect it means fairy tale, because for the lady behind this brand, it's like a fairy tale that she has her own brand, and it's actually Italian word because she lives partially in the Czech Republic and in Italy. And the yarn is also made in some small family Italian mill or business. And it's 70% superkit mohair and 30% nylon. And I asked her, why nylon? Why not silk? Usually you have just like silk mohair base. And she mentioned, and she explained to me that, okay, silk is not cruelty free. Usually it's not cruelty free. There are only few brands with cruelty-free silk, and I believe Knitting for Olive now has their silk mohair cruelty-free, and so that's the first reason. The second reason I have never realized is that silk is really shiny, and nylon is not, or doesn't have to be, probably, and that's actually what you can see in this mohair. It's just the color is really made, and actually it's the nylon which has this green undertone, and I really like it. I like how made it is. So it's something new to me. And the third reason is the price. So when you have nylon mohair blend, it's cheaper. And actually why I bought this yarn is because the owner's name is Maria Honzíková, and Maria Honzíková, she collaborated with the yarn shop Hladce Obrace, and Hladce Obrace was selling this Nuvia base. And this week she introduced her own website, foacreatives.com, I believe. I will put a link in the description box below. And now she can sell it via her own website. And she had an introductory discount. Introductory discount. That's 10% off. So I went for it because I really love this colorway. This colorway is called Instinctive. They have about 10 of them, I believe. And on her Instagram account, she actually added like description of all of the colors, and I have it right here. So, and about this colorway, it's called Instinctive. It's a mix between brown and gray. she writes that it's not too dominant color, but it fits like everyone can wear it. It's the color of the I don't know how to say this in English. Yeah, like animal color. Okay, mink. Mink has the same fur in the same color, and oh shush, I can see that. And it has something like wild in it. She writes, one can feel stronger and more attractive, and because it brings us closer to the animal world, where movements are really like elegant and senses are more sharp. And yeah, that's basically it. But she really writes like this, describes every color in this way. She also has like really nice pastel colors, bright colors, and even neutral, natural tones for minimalists. I would really love to try the Inner Light colorway, and it's a mix between white and beige. And their Prague gray color is also really lovely. I will put I'll put photos on those oh shush, I kicked in my tripod. Okay, so I'll put some photos here or there, I don't know, so you can see that. And you can always check her website, of course. So that's, I think, all I wanted to talk about today. Just, yeah, that's it. Big news is right here. Czech yarn brand I introduced. I talked about my Felix cardigan, the Oslo hat, and the yarn I bought. Yeah, so that's probably it. I hope you don't mind having my daughter here. I know the sounds might be bothering for someone, you know, the sounds babies make, but I don't know, it's probably going to be like that for a while, because it's really tricky to, you know, to get a time window when both your children are asleep and you can record and you're not too tired to record. I wasn't actually sure I'm going to do it today because I was so tired, exhausted in the morning. But it's all good now, it's better now. And yeah, so my knitting plans for the following months are the neighborly cardigan. I want to start with the sweater number 9. Yeah, and actually in the last episode, or in episode number 3, I showed you my cable sweater from Katie Davis, which I had to put aside. It's a dormant project right now because it's something I really need to focus on, and I do have time for knitting, but I need it to be relaxing and like simple stockinette or simple rib and so on. So that's going to be a dormant project for a while. Yeah, and when I was in hospital, I tried to knit a few rows of my vertical striped sweater, which I also want to finish, because it's like a 4x4 rib. It's something easy, something I can do. It's kind of so it's kind of mindless knitting as well. So it's all sweaters right now, and I really need to knit a shawl. And I was thinking about Kyler from Isabel Crema, because I have a really big yak wool shawl, which I'm currently using as a baby blanket for my daughter. So I don't have anything to put around my neck right now. So I'm really looking for something rustic with a little bit of lace or really nice texture, and maybe fingering weight yarn. But I've been searching for shawls for at least half a year, and I can't find something I would really love except for the Kyla. So if you know about something similar to this, and I want it to be big, 2 meters, or it's really okay. I want something big and soft and snugly. I can wrap my wrap my head around wrap around my neck and head. So that's it. So I'd be really grateful for any suggestions from your side, and I believe that's really all I wanted to talk about. I'm not sure how long this episode already is, so I better stop talking, and I wish you all wonderful weekend. It's Saturday, pre-noon right now. I hope I will be able to edit this video as soon as possible, so it could be out by Monday. So I know by the time you are watching this, it's no longer weekend, but I just wish you, like, every day should be perfect. Or perfect. Not perfect, but, I'm blabbing again. So just I wish you a nice day, and thank you for listening, for commenting, and yeah, that's it. Bye bye.